Voices of success. They echo through the halls of 600 Fifth Avenue, through the hills of Moon Township, through new buildings, athletic fields, residence halls, and classrooms. And they find their way into the minds and hearts of everyone who has ever been touched by Robert Morris University. These are the voices who made it all possible, alumni and friends who nurtured this great university from its very inception. These are the people we thank today for their time, their contributions, and for their dedication. She's not an alum, but she might as well be. She's been on our board since 1999. She's also president of the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, and best of all, proof that we have a great group of friends. Thank you, Barbara.
I think Robert Morris is a very special place. It is about transforming young people. It's about changing lives. It's about commitment and involvement. And that's what employers need, and that's what students need.
Alexander Pope wrote, "A little learning is a dangerous thing." This business major took him at his word and has a passion for learning every single day. He's on the board of the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance, the United Way of Allegheny County, and is a proud trustee of his alma mater. That would be RMU. Thank you, Steve.
Robert Morris means a lot to me personally because of the foundation that it gave me in my professional career. They treated me as an individual. They gave me a lot of self-esteem, and it was the combined experience of the academics with the applied learning that I had in my internship that really positioned me for long-term success.
This former Sandlot football player was the first in his family to go to college. He worked 3 jobs while attending RMU, but he's worked at one job ever since and helped grow this business into one of the region's giants, building by building by building. Thank you, Frank.
What I loved about Robert Morris is they taught me much more than business and accounting. Robert Morris taught me how to communicate in the real world. I support Robert Morris because I think a big part of being successful involves giving back to your community. Certainly, Robert Morris is a big part of my community.
Ask anyone in Hollywood. Accountants never get the girl. But this guy proved them wrong. He got a girl named Cheryl who supported his every career move, from Pittsburgh to LA to Toledo, back to LA to Charlotte, and then back to Pittsburgh. He also got a plaque at RMU. It reads Outstanding Accounting Major. He still has that too. And anyone who knows him thinks of him as a real good guy who just happens to run a global company. Thank you, Rich.
Robert Morris is, I believe, a hidden gem. You know, the slogan of Foundation for Success, I think, is very true. I think it's a great description of what Robert Morris provides. The learning experience is strong, it's solid, it's intimate and personal, and that prepares the graduates of Robert Morris, in my view, to be very successful right out of the box.
He was a wanted man. 3 job offers, and that was before he graduated. He majored in information systems management at the same time that skill hit the corporate world big time. Today, his timing is just as exquisite for us. Thank you, Tom.
What Robert Morris has done for me when I was in my 20s was allowed me to enter the workforce, allowed me to have a successful career. What it's doing for me now in my 40s is allowing me to play a bigger role in the community. The reason I'm involved with Robert Morris today is because the university is such an important part of the community. It's such an important part of Western Pennsylvania. There's a lot of notoriety. There's a lot of positive affiliation with the university right now, and it's great to be a part of it. I'm very proud to be a part of it.
His dad once told him, "You never want to say the words, 'I was going to.'" So he just went out and did it. There was no way he was going to miss out on any opportunity. Now he's managing director of one of America's largest insurance companies. Thank you, Mike.
I came from a solid middle-class family. My father was a sheet metal worker, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom. I felt right at home at Robert Morris because their values reflected our family values. What Robert Morris did for me is it opened my eyes to the business world. We were being taught by people in the business world, and they related the theoretical subject matter to reality very easily and quickly. And for a person like me, that's what I needed. I could never put enough value on that.
First, it was her 8-page black and white newsletter. Sheer determination turned it into Onyx Magazine, which gave birth to a TV talk show, The Onyx Woman. And that means every 24 hours, she touches 100 more lives. Thank you, Ola.
I was the first in my family to graduate from college, and so Robert Morris is very instrumental in who I am and what I am today. When I drive into town and I see that building there, it's a legacy, and it just reminds me of where I came from and how I got to where I got. I'm living my dream right now.
Bring on Harvard, bring on Yale, bring on Notre Dame and Duke. He'd never say it that way, but he's always savored the advantage he had over those guys when he started out in business. The advantage? 4 years of real-world education at Robert Morris. He serves on the board of the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium. He's chairman-elect of Goodwill Industries, and nobody is more dedicated to the future of RMU. Thank you, Gary.
I try not to ever miss any of the graduation ceremonies, because sitting up on the stage when all of those young men and women come across, and many of them still the first ones in their families to have graduated from college, it's just so incredibly inspiring. The applause that comes from the audience, and the fist pumps and the smiles on the faces are just so heartwarming. And to know that you've been, even in a small way, a part of that process, the return on investment is better than you're going to get in any marketplace.
He's the tallest man in the room, you never notice. Yet when he's around, things just seem to get done. He lives to see the Pittsburgh community thrive, RMU included, and gives real meaning to the words loyalty and generosity. If you want to find him, flying under the radar would be your best bet. Thank you, Dave.
When I think about Robert Morris, I get excited. When I go on the campus and think of Robert Morris 15 or 20 years ago and think of Robert Morris now, just from a physical standpoint, it's kind of overwhelming. When I think about the contribution that Robert Morris has made to this community, I think it's kind of remarkable. I mean, if you think about a school that started as a 2-year business school to a school that's really playing a remarkably valuable and integral role to the development of our workforce system here in this region, a school that's taken essentially a student body of sort of the backbone of Western Pennsylvania, hardworking families that are not inheriting their businesses but are actually working their way through the maze of opportunities in Western Pennsylvania, and just think that we've elevated our grade scores, our course offerings, and we're able to attract and retain about 85% of the students who graduate from Robert Morris. I think that's an amazing story.